I would like to welcome the next presenter, Ross Thorburn. His presentation title is Speaking of Photos, Using Images to Generate Communication. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I feel I only realize how bad my hair looks when I come to present and turn on the camera. So sorry about that. Again, welcome wherever you are. I'm in Shanghai and it's incredibly cold here. Do you want to just type in the chat, where are you? Where are you joining us from today? You could say a city or a country. Egypt, great. I'll type in Shanghai. Turkey, okay, lovely. Egypt as well. Angola, wow. I think all of you, Italy, I guess all of you are warmer than me. Hong Kong. Oh, is that Sunil? I know Sunil, I think. Is it the same Sunil? Maybe there's more than one Sunil in Hong Kong. Nadia's in Scotland. Ah, I'm from Scotland. Romania. Great. All right, wonderful. All right, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. Over the next 38 minutes, we're going to talk about using photos. So here is a quick overview. We'll do a little getting to know you activity. I will very briefly talk about why it's a good idea to use photos. And then most of the time we are going to do activities online. We'll see how this works using the chat box about using photos in class. All right, so very quick get to know each other. I have 3 truths and a lie. Maybe you've done this before. So here are 4 facts about me, but one of them is not true. So all you need to do is type the number in the chat. Which of these is the lie? So number 1 is I love baking. Number 2 is I am around 190 centimeters tall. Number 3 is I ran a marathon last year. And number 4 is I play the guitar. So take a guess, which of these do you think is not true? If you think I don't like baking, you can type 1. If you think I'm not 190 centimeters tall, you can click 2. If you think I didn't run a marathon last year, you can type 3. And if you think I don't play the guitar, you can type 4. All right, so Mayar thinks I don't play the guitar. A couple of votes for not running a marathon last year. And Kalinsiu, sorry, I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm sure, thinks I'm not 190 centimeters tall. Well, the lie is this: I did not run a marathon last year. I do love baking. That's one of the better cakes that I've baked over the last few years. That's me looking tall, surrounded by lots of people in India. And that's me playing the guitar a few months ago. All right, we will come back to this activity later. It does relate to photos. But what I wanted you to do next is maybe just answer one of these questions for me in the chat. Maybe how old are your students, or what level are they? Or even if you like, how many years have you been teaching? Maybe you could just pick one of those, type a number and answer in the chat. Be very useful for me. I've no, okay, 20 college students. Okay, great. Primary 1 to primary 6. Sunil, okay, 7 to 9 years old. Interesting. Okay, so mainly towards the younger end of the spectrum. All right, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing that with me. Wow, officers and NCO cadets. That is very exciting. All right, great. So next, let's talk about why use photos. Feel free in the chat to add your own ideas if you like. I've got 5 reasons here why I like using photos. First one is I think photos are engaging. I think a lot of time in class we show students texts and they probably get quite bored of reading those texts. I know I did when I was at school. So I think one thing is photos are engaging. Another thing is it's very easy to take photos now. When I was a new teacher back almost 20 years ago, it was quite difficult to take photos. You definitely couldn't take them. We didn't have smartphones back then. Also now it's very easy to display photos. In most classrooms, you have a computer screen. And yeah, so that means it's very easy to show them. Course books often contain interesting images, maybe that are not getting used very much. But my main reason why I love using photos is this, because they're great for mixed ability classes. So if you have a text, if you have something in a course book, reading, then it might be too easy for some students, might be too difficult for other students, but photos can never be too easy or too difficult. You don't get an intermediate level photo. There's no such thing as a beginner level photo. Anyone at any level can look at a photo and understand it. So it kind of removes a barrier, I think, for students talking. All right, so those are some reasons I think it's good to use photos. We are going to do, hopefully, if time allows, in the next 32 minutes, we're going to try doing 4 photo-based activities. We'll do each of these together as a group, and then we'll talk a little bit about maybe how you could create your own. So the 4 activities I'm going to do with you today are spot the difference, which you've probably heard of before, picture puzzle exchange, deceptive description, which is a little bit like 3 truths and a lie, and finally we'll do one called word whiz. All right, so let's get started. The first one we're going to look at is spot the difference, probably the easiest one. So this activity, all you need to do this to prepare is get 2 photos, and the photos need to have some differences in them. So I've got an example here of a lady on a train, and here's the same lady on the same train. You can see in this picture here, she's reading a red book, she's wearing a mask. What else? Her phone is on her lap. Whereas in picture B, a few differences, right? Her phone's not on her lap, she's not wearing a mask, and she's reading a purple book. And the idea is that in class, you put students in pairs. Each student has one of these pictures. They describe the pictures to each other, and they try to find the differences. And obviously, by talking about the photos, they have to listen to each other. And then when someone says something that's unclear, you then get lots of discussion going on about that. So we are going to do a little example together. I have a photo here on my phone, and you have a similar photo. I'm going to hide that from my, oops, I'm going to hide that from myself. So I'm going to describe my photo, which is here on my phone. Look at your photo on the screen, and I want you to tell me what differences are there between your photo and my photo. Here goes. Okay, so I've got a picture here of a table in a cafe. There's a laptop computer on the table, and Google is on the laptop. Next to the computer, there is half a sandwich. Looks like an egg and salmon sandwich. Looks quite nice. And there's a knife and fork on the plate next to the sandwich. And next to the plate, there is a glass of water, full glass of water. And behind that, there is a full coffee cup with the handle on the left. And kind of behind the coffee cup, we've got a pair of sunglasses. And also behind the coffee cup on the other side, there is a water bottle, which is mostly empty. Behind that, there's a gray wall, and with it a fire exit sign. And at the back right of the photo, there's I guess, a bar with a barista. All right, so what differences did you hear? Sunil has said there was no knife and fork in your photo? Any other differences? Let me just describe it again for you very quickly. Laptop computer with Google on it, half a sandwich on a plate, a cup of coffee with the handle on the left, a full glass of water at the bottom left. Great. Okay, lots of things here. So you guys do not have Google. That's great. Your bottle is more full than mine. Maybe that makes you an optimist. You've got half a sandwich, or maybe I've got half a sandwich, and you don't have a barista. What else? And the handle of the cup is different. Great. All right. I think you got a lot of the differences there. Let me reveal the two pictures. So there you go. I think you've got a lot of those. You've got the desktop is different between them. I had a knife and fork, but you had an extra half of a sandwich. I don't know if anyone noticed, I had a full glass of water and you had an empty one. And I think someone noticed I had a handle on my coffee cup, but you didn't. And you guys had a bit more water in the jug than me. And my barista was here, but yours wasn't. Okay, so that was me demonstrating that to you. Of course, if we were doing this in class with students, you get the students to describe those to each other. Now, it is kind of difficult getting photos for this, I find, but there are a few ways to make your own, and I'll go through these very quickly. So the first way that you can make your own is to do what I did with that picture. So just get some objects, put them on a table, take a photo, move them around, and take another one. So this is a picture I took for a kids class, so maybe more like the age groups that most of you are teaching, so primary school age. I did this for a unit about food. So you can see we've got a different number of eggs here, we've got milk, I think 2 slices of bread, 1 slice of bread. So pretty easy to do, right? But it's kind of limited if you move things around. So another option you can do is take a photo. So this one is of a building site near where I used to live. So I took this photo, I guess in maybe the fall, and then I came back in the early spring, and you can see we've got quite a few differences. Fewer leaves on the trees, different people standing around, and a bigger building. So that's another option for this, is you can take a photo and come back at another time 6 months later. But again, you have to wait 6 months, so not ideal. So the last one of these thing that you can do is you can use AI. So I heard a question to Stephen Krashen earlier about AI, but here's another use of AI. This is from AI art generator. So this is a photo I took on a business trip, actually just across the border from Hong Kong in Shenzhen last year. So you can see here we've got some couple of tall buildings. Actually, this one on the left is one of the tallest buildings in the world. And I took this and deleted some parts of it and got AI to generate the rest of the image. And then over here, we've got another image, which is kind of similar, but kind of different. All right, so that's another way of creating your own photos for Spot the Difference. Okay, so another 1 or 2 points about this. If you do this in class, of course, I think it's a great thing for a mixed ability group, right? So in our example together, I was doing all the talking, all you had to do was listening, and between us, we still managed to collaborate and get all the answers. So really good, I think, for pairing stronger students and weaker students together. Obviously, the photo and what you include in it can make the activity more or less difficult. And as an alternative for this, or an extension for students who finish quickly, what I like to do is tell students to make a list of the differences. So if you've got some students who go through that very quickly, get to the end, you can say, all right, now I want you to make a list of all the differences. All right, so that was Spot the Difference. The next one we are going to do here is called Picture Puzzle Exchange. So for this one, you have not 2 photos, but a set of photos. So I'll show you an example in a second with 4 photos, the same 4 photos, and all you do is you change the order of the 4 photos. All right, so one student's got the 4 photos in one order, the other student's got the same 4 photos, but in a different order. And students just have to describe the images and match them. All right, so good for lots of describing and speaking and listening. All right, so here's a little example. So we can imagine here this student, student A, student A over here, they have got these 4 photos, and student B, they can't see those. They've got these 4 photos here. All right, so you can see the photos are the same, but just the order is different. So student A might say something like this. They might say, number 4 is 2 ladies holding hands. All right, and student B over here, they can see the same photos and they can see that this is the same photo, and they might say, so that is B, 4 is B. So they've matched those photos together without looking at them. All right, pretty straightforward. What we are going to do now is you guys are going to do this together. So what I want you to do, first of all, is either type in the chat number 1 or number 2. Totally up to you, but I'm going to put you in 2 groups, so you can type either a 1 or a 2. Up to you. But do it quickly, please. Type in the chat either 1 or 2. Random. Thank you, Zara, is 1. Great, Sunil is 1. Can we get some 2s, please? Anyone want to be a number 2? Great, Mayar is number 2. Great, Serap's number 2. Wonderful. All right, so what I want you to do next is get ready to take a screenshot or take a photo of the screen. So I'm going to show the pictures to number 1s first, and then I'll show the different photos to number 2s. All right, so if you're number 1, get ready to take a photo of the screen. If you're number 2, please close your eyes or look away from the screen. So number 2s, don't look. Number 1s, these are your photos. So if you're number 1, take a photo of those photos, take a screenshot of those. I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. Take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. And number 1s, close your eyes or look away. And number 2s, these are your 3 photos. So if you're number 2, take a photo of that or take a screenshot of that. Sorry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, there we go. So what I want you to do now is in the chat, describe one of your pictures. All right, and read what other people write and see is anything similar. All right, so type the number or the letter of the photo you want to describe, and then read what everyone else wrote. Okay, I will also take part in this as a little example. Great, so Serap says a yellow cat is sitting in picture 1. Great. All right, can we get some people from who are number 1? Maybe you can describe something as well. After you've described a picture, you can describe another one as well, if you like. I'll do one. I'm going to say 3 is a brown and black, whoops, I can't spell black, brown and black cat sitting in a doorway. All right, can we get some other ones? Come on, everyone, describe a picture. Help me out here. This activity is not going to work if you don't type or if you don't say anything. Great, Sunil says, a cat sitting on a chair. You have to tell us which number or which letter it is, Sunil. All right, Sahara says, number 1, the first cat looks sad. All right, Sunil is number 2. is a cat sitting on a chair. But Paul Granger joining us. Any others? Can you guess? No, I guess we didn't get any letters, did we? So we don't actually know. All right, that didn't work very well. Well, anyway, when I've done this with students, it works better. I guess, Neil, instead of number one, you were trying to say that was actually A. Anyway, those were the answers. So what I usually find students will do in classes is say something like, A is a cat sitting on a chair. And the other student might say, oh, 2 is a cat sitting on a chair. And then they match them. All right, so that was picture puzzle exchange. Again, tends to work quite well for mixed ability groups. You often get students of different levels working together. Obviously there I had all pictures of cats. That maybe made it a little bit more difficult. So the more similar the photos are, the harder it tends to be. The more different the pictures are, the harder it is. And of course, the more photos you have, the harder it tends to be as well. All right, and for making your own, this is another one that I made that I did with a class this week, some pictures of churches. What I tend to do with this is just take lots of photos of similar things. So whenever I pass a church now, I take a photo, right? Whenever I pass, what else? If I'm in a restaurant, I'll take a photo. And then over time, I end up with a lot of these pictures that I can use. Oh, sorry, you can't see that, can you? Or you can see that. Am I sharing my screen? No, I'm not sharing my screen.
Now,
All right, there we go. There we go. All right. You can see that now. Sorry about that. So those are some pictures of churches. So something you can maybe try. All right. So we have about 15 minutes left. So maybe time to do 2 more of these. This first one, the third one, I should say, is called deceptive description. All right. So this one, a bit easier to set up. You need to get a photo and cover up part of the image. All right, so just cover it up. And in class, all we do is we get one student to describe the part of the photo that's covered up. But instead of describing it accurately, they do something a little bit like 3 truths and a lie. All right, so they can say something about the photo that's true, and they can also say something about the photo that's a lie, that's not true. All right, and this is the other students then have to listen and guess what's true, what's not true. All right, so obviously there's a lot of speaking going on there. For the other students, a lot of listening. But I find it's also good for critical thinking because we have to think about what is realistic. We have to decide which is most likely to be the lie. And it's also creative because, as I'm sure some of you might know, if you want to tell a lie that people are going to believe, that involves a lot of creativity. All right, so we are going to do an example together. Let's try this together. So I have covered up one for you guys. You can see a little bit of this picture, but not all of it. So I'm going to tell you 3 things about this picture. Only 2 of them are true. So I want you to tell me which of these is the lie. All right, so here are 3 sentences. First one, there is a door in the wall. All right, maybe you can type a number. Tell me if you think that's true or false. Number 2, there is a couple wearing wedding outfits. That's number 2. And number 3, a news reporter is speaking into a microphone. All right, there we go. So don't worry about it, Sunil. So what do you think? Which of these is the lie? Maybe you can type a number. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, Mohammed thinks number 1 is not true. Sarap thinks number 3 is not true. Any others that are you want to try? Great. Gazam thinks number 3 is not true. Anima thinks 2 is false. Okay, Dan thinks it's either 2 or 3. Well, let's take a look. There we go. So we can see there is indeed a door in the wall, and we've got a couple in their wedding outfits, but no news reporter. So number 3 was the lie. Nadia, are you still there? And you can hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Okay, so Nadia, if it's all right, I might use you as my example for the next one, if that's all right. So what we're
Of
going to
course.
do is that I will ask all of you to describe this next picture, and we'll get Nadia to guess which of these are true and which are false. So Nadia, can I ask you to close your eyes, please? Great. All right. Nadia's not happy about this. Thanks, Nadia. All right. So here is your picture, everyone. Can you take a screenshot of that and get ready to describe what's happening in the bottom of this picture? All right. So take a screenshot of that. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, Nadia, you can open your eyes again. All right, so everyone else, can you type in the chat? Just make a sentence about the bottom of the photo, and it can be true or false, totally up to you, and we'll get Nadia to guess which of these are true and which are false. So Nadia, I'll read these out and you can guess. The first one is a man with a hat. Do you think that's true or false, Nadia?
I think it's false.
Okay, do you think there's someone drawing a picture?
No.
No? Okay, do you think there is a hole in the ground from roadworks?
No.
Okay, well, Nadia thinks you're all lying all the time. A beautiful lady is singing. Do you think that one is true?
It could be.
Okay, maybe beautiful lady singing. And the last one here, the Mona Lisa is on the pavement.
No.
No. All right, well, let's take a look and see what the answer is. There we go. Thank you for trying, Nadia, but I think you were completely wrong about all of them. So we did have the Mona Lisa, we did have a man with a hat, but no lady singing. Thank you very much, Nadia, for trying that out with us. So for doing this with different levels, I think this is a little bit of a higher level thing, but I like doing this again in mixed ability classes because it's a good one where you can get one stronger student to do more talking and describing, and you can get the other students to do more listening and guessing about what is true or false. And of course, I put negotiation of meaning here. So let's imagine that one of the students has said something and the other students don't understand what they said for pronunciation or whatever. It's a great moment because then students can say, sorry, I don't understand. And then those students have to change what they say, and that's a great form of feedback. All right, obviously all sorts of alternatives, right? We could give different students different pictures, get each student to maybe write down some ideas and then read them out, get students to do it in groups of 3s, everyone gets a different picture. So lots of different options for doing that. Okay, we have just 10 minutes left. I think I've been talking far too quickly here, so sorry about that. This last activity is called Word Whiz. So this is based on a game show. So what you do in this activity is you prepare one photo to show the whole class, and you get students to work by themselves, and you give students 30 seconds. You show a photo and you just say, just quiet for 30 seconds. You have to write 5 words to describe the photo. Quite easy, right? But the students get 1 point every time they write a word which someone else in the class wrote. So the students not only have to write 5 words to describe the photo, they have to think about how other people are going to describe the photo. All right. I think the previous presenter, Geisam, mentioned giving students little mini whiteboards where you get a white piece of paper and you put plastic, you put lamination, or you laminate it, sorry, and you can get students to write on that. This is a good material for doing that with. All right, so we're going to do this together. I'm going to show you a picture. I will give you 30 seconds All you need to do in those 30 seconds is type 5 words to describe the picture. And at the end of the 30 seconds, when the time is up, press enter, and then you can count how many people wrote the same words as you, and we'll see who has the most points. All right, so here we go. We'll do this twice. This can be our practice round. So I'm going to show you an image. You'll have 30 seconds. Type in the chat 5 words to describe the image. But remember, try to think of words which you think other people will write. Okay, here we go. The bar across the top will show you the time. 3, 2, 1, start typing. 20 seconds left. Don't hit enter until we get to the end of the time, of course. About 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, hit enter. And all right, you typed lots of words there. Brilliant. All right, so what I want you to do is look at what everyone else wrote and count how many words did other people write that you wrote. All right, so for example, I can see that Dan.
Sorry to interrupt. We have 5 minutes left.
Yes, okay,
Thanks.
Thank you very much for the warning, Nadia. All right, so for example, Dan wrote the word hat. Let's see, did anyone else write the word hat? No, amazingly not. Oh, sorry, Sunil wrote the word hat. So there you go, Dan. You've got 1 point for that one. Let's see what else. Zara wrote the word wall, and EWJ wrote wall. Did anyone else write wall? No, so there you go. You would get 1 point for that. So what I want you to do is type in the chat, how many points did you get from doing this? How many points did you get? Quickly read what everyone else wrote, count the number of points, and type in the chat. Great, well done. Sunil got 3. Just for all the words. Oh, hat, you got 2. Well, you got 5 altogether then, Sunil. That's not bad at all. Well done. Anyone else? Sunil got 5 points. Did anyone else get more than 5 points? Zara got 4. Well done. Anyone else? Maybe 4, says Dan. All right, well, let's do it one more time. I'll show you another photo. Now we've had a warm up. Let's try this again. See how many points you can get this time. Now you know how to play. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There's your image. You have 30 seconds. Start typing, and remember, hit enter only at the end. You've got about 20 seconds left. About 15 seconds left. 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. So how many? Yes. What have we got here? My goodness, Sunil, that was more than 5 words. You got it. Got about 20 words there. All right. What are some common words here? We've got umbrella, river, grass, city. Sunil got a bit excited. All right. So take a look. How many points did you get that time? Maybe you can count and tell us in the chat. So personally, I think this is a fun activity to do at the beginning of a new unit. So often when you open a course book, I've got one here, right? When you open a course book, you often get lots of pictures at the beginning. And often people don't really do anything with the pictures. But this is a great way, I think, to find out what students already know about a topic before you start teaching them about it, right? So there we obviously got lots of the word umbrella, right? So we can tell that everyone knows the word umbrella. And it's also nice because for higher level students have to think about what words will their classmates know. All right, so well done to both Zara and Sunil, I think, who both got 5 points, and commiserations Dan, who only got 1. All right, so those were 4 activities, all using photos. Remember, big benefit, I think, of using photos, or big benefits, they're a bit different from what we normally do in class. It can be really engaging. It's easy to take them, it's easy to show them, but more than anything else, they don't exclude students, right? Everyone, no matter what their level is, can look at a photo and understand it, and that is not the same for written texts. All right, very quick wrap up. Maybe you can share in the chat either something you learned, something you might use in class, or in the last 2 minutes, a question perhaps that you still have. So do share something with us in the last few seconds, something you learned, something you might use in class, or maybe a question that you still have that you want to ask. Okay, Sarap, like I guess 1 and 2, the first one. Okay, thanks, Mohammed. All right, love you too. Thanks for coming. So Sunil asked, what AI was that to edit? So that was DALL-E 2 that I used there. I'll just type that in the chat. That was DALL-E 2, which is free to sign up for, and I think you can make something like 10 images a month, something like that. Okay, great. Well, thank you. Glad that you enjoyed that. Great. Do send me an email or something if you do use any of those. That's my email address in case you do have any questions, or if you want today's presentation or anything like that, send me an email. My Twitter is there, where I post things occasionally that I write. And if you're interested, my website is there, tefltraininginstitute.com, where I post a lot of podcasts. Again, thank you, Maria, for the invite.
Thank you.
Nadia, of course, for being a great moderator and for also closing your eyes and guessing. I really
Thank you, Ross. I really appreciate you coming in today. Really appreciate your session.
My pleasure.